All right, guys, welcome to Fix It Friday, and I'm Dax Castro. I'm here to help you tackle the tags tree and lead you down the road of remediation. So let's dive right in. All right, so if we take a look at this table, we can see that all of the elements in this table have little blue squares around them. Now yours might be a different color than mine, but they should all have a little blue square or a little square around them, letting you know that all of the information in this table has a tag somewhere in the tags tree. If we go to our next page, we see we have an issue. Here we see that only part of the heading has squares around it, but the rest of the table does not. Well, let's keep going. Well, it looks like we have the same issue here. We're on page 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, all the way down. Wait, what happened there? Oh, we went from page 37 to page 23, and look there's the rest of our content. Well, let's make a note of that. So this is the rest of our table. So we're going to call this body for a second, right? And then we're going to go back up here. That was the correct table, but this was the other half of this table. So let's go ahead and take this table, and we're going to drag this on up here, and we're going to stick it right underneath this other table. Now look what happens here. We're in the same table, but part of it's being selected from this table and part of it's being selected from that table. And that's not what we want at all. So let's take a deeper look here. So first we want to expand these two tags trees, and we can see that this has a table body but no table heading, and this one has a table heading and a table body like we would normally expect, right? So what do we need to do? We're going to go ahead and expand this, and we see we have a table row, and we expand this one, and here's another table row. We need to get these both in the same place. So we're going to go ahead and grab this. We're going to left click on this table row here, and we're going to drag it down underneath here. Now we don't want to be out here. We want to be underneath the tag so that it's at the same level as the table row below it. And we let go, right? And now we can see that this table row and this table row are inside this table heading. Everything highlights blue. We're good to go. So let's go ahead and delete this other table since it's empty now and we don't need it. So now we have everything in one unified table, which pretty much means we're going to have to do that same process for each one of these tables, but we're not done yet. All right, so now we have to go ahead and make sure that all of our table rows have the right column span and merge cells, right? So let's go ahead and look at this first table row, and we can see we have table heading here and a table heading there, right? That looks pretty decent. And we're going to go ahead now and we're going to go into the accessibility tag. And if you don't see this accessibility panel over here, you can click down here for more tools, and then you can drag the accessibility panel from here over onto the side. But I already have it, so I don't need to do that. So let's go back to where we were. We're going to use the read order tool. So we're going to go ahead and select this table here. I always click on the number, but you can click pretty much anywhere as long as it turns blue. And then we go to table editor. And now we can see here I have my table headings marked as orange. Yours might be a different color. This is just what I'm used to. So I can see that this table heading is set correctly for at least these four things. But I'm missing my table headings down here. And it looks like we have some row headings that need to be set as well. So let's go ahead and take care of that. First, we're going to right click on this cell, and we're going to go to cell properties, and we're going to look at it. We see it is a header cell, but it doesn't have any scope. Now normally it wouldn't matter whether you have scope or not, because as long as there's a single row at the top, NVDA and JAWS assume that it is a row heading. Now of course we know tables should have heading cells, so we want to go ahead and set those, but the scope is assumed when it's a regular table and there's only a heading row on the top. But since we have merge cells in this table, we want it to sound correct, so we need to set the scope. So we're going to go ahead and set the scope for this one to column, right? And right now it says it only spans one column, but we can definitely see this spans 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So we're going to go ahead and set that. And the reason we want to set that is as someone moves through the table, we want JAWS or NVDA to know that this heading needs to be included when referencing any of the cells below it. So that's why we set the column span. So we're going to go ahead and set this to 4 because we can see that it spans these 4 columns. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And you can see our little warning here that says, hey, do you really want to do this? Make sure you save your document at key points along the way, because once you hit yes, you're stuck, and you don't want to have to do some surgery in replacing certain pages in a long document. It's always best to save. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hit OK, and now we can see our table heading is correct. It spans the 4 columns, and we're good to go. Now let's take a look at these. Now we're going to hold down Shift, and we're going to click on each one of these cells, and we're going to go to Cell Properties, and we're going to set the scope from None to Column, because they're all column headings, and none of them span more than 1 column, so we're good to go. All right, next we need to tackle these other ones here. So we're going to go ahead and click on this one, hold down Shift, and click on this one, hold down Shift, this one, and this one. And we're going to right click and go to Cell Properties. And again, now these need to be set to heading cells, and their scope is again column, because they affect everything below them. And now we see what we need to set the column span, because here these merged cells span the entire table. So how many cells do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 columns. So we're going to go ahead and set that column span to 5 and hit OK. Yes, we want to go ahead and do this, and there we go. Now look, everything lines up. We're looking pretty good. All of our columns and rows seem to be all where we want them to be, but we're missing a few things. Each of these cells here, holding down Shift, we're going to click on each one of these, and once we do, we're going to right click, we're going to go to Cell Properties, and we know these are heading cells, and we're going to set the scope to Row, because they affect everything to the right of it. They are row headers. We want JAWS and NVDA to voice these subcategories as someone is walking through this table reading all of this data. So we go ahead and hit OK, and there we go. So now we have appropriately set column rows and column headings, and as JAWS walks through this table, it's going to know what references to use and which ones not. This is a perfectly remediated table. Now we have to do this same process for all of these other tables within this entire document. All right, so that's it. So I hope this gave you some information on how to remediate some tables when things don't always work out as planned. When we're merging cells inside Word, we convert to PDF. Sometimes it doesn't always go the way we want it to, but most of the time there's a way to fix it. We just have to go step by step, make sure our scopes and columns and merge cells and everything are all in line, and you should come out okay. For more tips and tricks on remediation, you can join my Facebook group, PDF Accessibility. Or you can follow me on my blog at section508.com. That's section, the number 5, the letters OH, and the number 8.com.